In this lesson, we are going to understand the interface of Google Data Studio reports. So let's jump back to our browser. Here we have our report. At the top, we have the name of the report, which in this case is Euromart dashboard. To change the name, simply click on the name, select the entire name that you have and change it to whatever you have by typing the name. At the bottom, you have different tabs of file, editing, view, insert, and so on, which contain some useful settings as well. But throughout the report creation process, instead of using these tabs, what we are going to use is this toolbar at the bottom. This contains a lot of features that are not there in these tabs and a lot of them which are also there in these tabs. So you might find a lot of options that are repeating in these tabs as well as on the toolbar. We'll be using the toolbar to create different visualizations and adding different items to our report. The first thing that we have is add a page. So if you want to add a page to your report, simply click on this icon here and you will add a page to your report. If you want to undo an action, you can click on this button or simply press Ctrl Z. You can also redo an action if you have an action that you want to redo. Here we have the selection mode. So we are currently at the, I would say, on the selection mode, which means we can select different items by simply dragging on the screen. So if I want to select, let's say, this table that we have, I can simply drag over it and it will get selected. Next, we have the option of adding our data. So remember how we discussed how we could create a report and then add our data? This is the option for that. So we could go ahead and create a report, then come to add data here, click on add data, and it would lead you to the same options that we had. You could simply select the data that you want to load to, and it will get added to your report. Next, we have add a chart. This is what we are going to be using to add different visuals to our report. So if you click on add a chart, there are different options, different visuals that you can add. You can add a table, a scorecard, time series charts, and multiple other visuals as well. The way to add one is to simply click, let's say I want to add a table. So I can simply click on table. It will have this thumbnail of a table and I will have to simply click on my report to insert that table. And here I will have my table. Wait for a few seconds and the table will load up with some dummy data. So right now it's just loading and you will see a table here. The next option that we have is community visualizations and components. So if you do not want to add a visual from your add a chart button, you can also have a community visual. This is the different visuals that have been created by different developers of Google Data Studio. These are not the default options. These are the ones that are extra along with the default options. So you can go ahead and if you want to insert any of them or explore more visuals, you can click on explore more. For now, let's keep this aside and move on to the next one. Then we can add a control to our report. We'll be learning all about controls and the different control options that we have in this list. So that's it for now. We'll be looking at that later. Next, we can also embed a URL. So for example, you want to embed, let's say, a Google form in your report. You could simply copy the link of the Google form and paste it in URL embed. So you can click on this, drag it on the report. Once I click on this, we can simply click here and it will insert a box where we can embed a particular URL. The next thing that we have is a image. So you can click on image and upload it from your computer or even specify a URL of that image that you want to have in your report. This is useful when you want to add logos of your company to your report. So you can simply upload the logo that you have and it will start showing up here. Next, we have the text box. So if you want to add a simple text box to your report, you can simply click on text and let's say I want to add something here and let's call this Euromart dashboard. And it's as simple as that. You have just added a text here. Now you can click somewhere else and you are good to go. Let's first remove the URL embed that we added by selecting it and pressing the delete key on my keyboard. Next option that we have after the text box is a line option. So you can insert line in your report as well. And similarly, you can also insert a shape which are of two types, either a rectangle or a circle. So if you want to insert a rectangle and let's say you want to insert your heading there, simply click on rectangle, drag the rectangle on your screen, for example, something like this, and you can bring, let's say, a text box on top of it. And this will be your header. So this is how your dashboard can be modified. You have different options to order all these items. So if you want to bring the text box at the top and you want to bring this rectangle at the bottom of it, You could simply click on the rectangle and choose the order of it as well. So you can just go to order, send backwards, and it will go at the back, and the text box will be at the top of it. So now I can see Euromart dashboard here. Finally, we have the theme and layout. So if you don't select on any visual, if you don't click on any visual, and if you have nothing active here, to the right hand side, you will see theme and layout, which will give you two options, theme and layout. Here we have the different themes that we can apply to our dashboard or our report. So you can go ahead and select any of the themes that are there in default settings. All of them are really nice to just have a look at and explore, or you could even customize your own theme and keep it for later. So if you have, let's say, a particular company color that you need to use in your report, you can go ahead and customize it, specify all the colors or the hex codes of these colors that you want in your report as default, and make this your default theme. Then you also have your layout, which we are going to discuss later. For now, the only option that I want to discuss under layout is this canvas size. So if you want to change the size of your canvas to something else, let's say you don't want to have it as 1200 and 900 pixels, you want to have it as a square. So I can change this to 900, and your canvas size will also change. So as you can see, now it's a rectangle. Let's change this back to 1200 and keep it as the default for now. There are different options that we can explore, and we are going to do that later on in this course. For now, this is it about the interface of the report. Remember, you can add a visual from add a chart, and you can add a data source from your as well if you have started from a report itself and then you are trying to add a data source. Different options here of adding an image, a square shape, rectangles, your text box, lines, and even a URL. That's it for this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one.